The star-studded film at number 87, it's Escape to Victory. Welcome to Long Play Video. And welcome to Long Play Video. We're running through my favorite 100 movies of all time. Structure, as always, is going to be, we're going to talk a little bit about the film, have some time travel to after having watched the film, and then have a chat about what we thought about it this time around. Today is number 87, is Escape to Victory. Now, I believe you've seen this film before, Kev.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, it's one of the few on the list I've actually managed to see, which is good.
So, in an effort to have someone join us who's watching it for the very first time, I've actually invited my friend Carla down to the store, and here she is now.
Oh, hello. I love your store. It's really well located. I love it. Yeah. Hi, nice to meet you guys.
Hey, Carla. Welcome to the store.
Thanks. Yeah, it's an honor to be here.
How are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to dive into the film today.
Nice. And we're turning a couple of videos that you'd already taken out.
Yeah, right? I actually had a bit of a movie marathon myself, so I'm bringing back two movies today. I've got Fight Club for you and Bridesmaids. They're a little bit late, so I hope you can waive the late fee.
That'll be 70p on each one.
I'll ask my dad if he can give me my pocket money early.
Two great films as well.
Yeah. Very enjoyable marathon, you know.
Back to back. It's totally same style. Well, I mean, and now you've got another great movie that you'll be able to experience for the first time. So I'll hand you over the DVD, and you can tell us a little bit about the film from the DVD cover.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm coming into this one with a very open mind. When I'm grabbing this video, I'm a little bit intimidated and confused, I will say. And so
that's probably fair.
It's I mean, this cover, okay, looking at the front, it's a little insane. It's kind of reminding me of, do you remember Matt Damon and Greg Kinnear were in a film together where they were twins? I'm kind of getting that same vibe looking at Sylvester Stallone and Michael Caine right here. So we've got it. It's 1981. I've already said Sylvester Stallone and Michael Caine, and surprisingly, Pele is one of the main actors in this, which is absolutely unexpected. But
I mean, who would know that he would think he'd go on to have a great football career? I mean, I thought he'd always be an actor. It's crazy.
Yeah, so I was surprised that this was the film you wanted me to watch, Andy, because as you know, I'm not the biggest football fan myself. But then when I saw that there's barbed wire and a swastika on the video, I knew I was in for an unusual ride at this one. So maybe we could dive into what it's actually about, because it's kind of a bit new to me. So it's 1943. A bunch of Allied POWs led by John Colby, Michael Caine, of course, a former West Ham and England international, is manipulated into playing a propaganda soccer match against the German national team in Paris's Colombe Stadium. For both sides, victory is vital in a game that is not only a game. So they're really ramping it up. And then Escape to Victory is a star-studded adventure movie that combines the excitement of top soccer action with the tension and brutality of war. When it comes to entertainment, here we go. Escape to Victory is in a league of its own. I love it. So
yeah. You would have thought, right? You could bring the war and you could bring football together, and then go, well, let's put this together as a nice long movie, and we'll get Sylvester Stallone to head it up.
I'm just so shocked that Michael Caine is in a film that's like this. But I mean, if it's in Andy's top 100, then it's gotta have some credibility. So I don't know. We also see Sylvester Stallone is wearing a very, I would say, fancy looking leather jacket on the back as well. So maybe he's the football coach. Maybe he's like Alex Ferguson chewing gum on the side of the pitch. I don't know.
in a leather jacket. I'm not
yes.
sure, I'm not sure I remember Alex Ferguson.
The times were different. Who knows? And then we have, I don't know, some generals on the side clapping and smiling. Doesn't look hopeful. So I don't know. I'm a little bit scared, but I'm very excited.
It is a strange one, isn't it? I mean, you almost feel like this must have been like at the start. He should say, "Oh, based on a true story," because you're like, who else would just come up with this concept of let's just set a film either in wartime and then just add in soccer around the entire film?
I mean, someone brilliant. That's who.
Yes, it's directed by John Huston and written by Jeff McGuire. So they've got a lot to answer for, I'm guessing, when we watch this. So
I mean, John Huston, like classic director. I don't know if you know John Huston did like Maltese Falcon, Key Largo, a whole bunch of the Bogart movies, and is like quite notorious around Hollywood for his acting career and his directing career as well. So I mean, this is sort of latter,
a break from the norm
and latter career, I would say.
This is like, let's just make anything we can at this stage.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why Michael Caine's in it then. He basically, owed the director a favor, and he's like, oh, do I really have to be in this soccer movie with Sly Stallone? Are you sure? And
he's like, he had leverage. He has he was blackmailing Michael Caine, is basically what you're saying.
To be in one of the best movies of all time.
Sorry, we're really assuming, or I'm really assuming this is going to be terrible.
I mean, you're probably not.
That's what the DVD cover would say, to be fair.
Yeah. Well, it says on the top, movie greats. What are we talking about?
Michael Caine, he kind of looks a bit like a Cabbage Patch doll. On the front cover.
It's a very strange front cover, isn't it? It doesn't really,
so they've turned
really make much sense.
They've turned the two of them into the V for victory, but then Pele has a giant arm. Just shooting out of Sylvester Stallone's head. Yeah. So maybe they're triplets, not twins. I don't know.
There you go.
I think it's a fair shout that they thought, right, well, we're going to do a V pose, but we need to have Pele in as well because that's going to be a big draw. And that's not even including Bobby Moore is in this movie. Ozzy Ardiles, he's a very big Argentinian
footballer. Where you lose me on the football reference.
Yeah,
here we go.
And a whole host of others. And funnily enough, you say about the true story. There is a rumor that this is a true story or based on a true story.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
That like I think it's in Belgrade. Like Red Star Belgrade players played the Nazis, but then basically like beat them and then all got killed. I think the story maybe has some people kind of casting doubt about it. That there was a football team. Some of them did die during the war, but it wasn't like straight after a game or anything like that. So, but also, I mean, war and football kind of goes together, right? Because the Armistice Day game is sort of etched in our minds.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it's as much for a reach maybe as it would seem. And this is just a film that, I mean, again, I can't really remember being like watching it for the first time. It's just kind of, it was one of the videos that I just watched over and over and over again. And I think, I don't know, it may be aging us as always, but like growing up, there was just World War II movies on the TV like every weekend for at least like 7 or 8 hours on BBC Two. It was just films about World War II. So it was something that we just grew up with, these films that were sort of so focused on the war. And then I feel like everyone kind of chose like their war movie. And I'm not that big really into war movies. I was looking through the list. I think there's only like 4 other films that are based on World War II. So yeah, I kind of, this was like my war movie, or like my escape from a prison camp movie, because that's what most of the British movies I think were about.
And it's the only one I bet with Sly Stallone in
it. Well, I think it might be the only Sly Stallone movie on the list as well.
Oh yeah, well, what an absolute shock! He's such a good actor. I mean, there's at least 4 expendable films that could be on there.
and yet Pele's in 4 of the films on the list. No, it's not.
Yeah, that football career really got in his way, didn't it?
Yeah.
He would have been so good.
He found his calling with this one.
Yeah, like so many other actors, like Eric Cantona, like Mick Jagger. They went on to have second careers outside of acting.
I texted my brother about this film. I was like, "Have you seen Escape to Victory? Like, what are your thoughts on it?" And he called me immediately. He said, that is the weirdest text I've ever received. But then he went on.
He thought you'd been kidnapped.
Is this your safe word?
Cough if you need help.
Yeah.
But then funnily enough, he'd like watched it, I don't know, a couple of months ago again. So
oh wow.
He had very fond memories of this film as well. But he just said, he's like, just watch out for Sly Stallone's form. His form is terrible. So I'm really interested to see the actual soccer skills of the actors involved here.
I mean, because I was going to say, it's not really like he's even really well known as like being good at football on the sidelines. Like, I don't think there's any connection with Sly Stallone and football. So it's kind of interesting. Even he must have thought, am I doing this film? Is this really happening?
Yeah.
Should I be in this film? Yeah.
Good impression. Especially because where it comes in his career is like this is in between Rocky 2 and Rocky 3. So that's it's pretty up there. It's the year before First Blood.
Okay.
So and actually the same year as there's Nighthawks, which is maybe one for the purist, but is also quite a popular film. So it's an interesting decision of his to cram it in, I would say.
I'd say definitely when he heard though Michael Caine is in it, it's like a very credible co-star for him.
Yeah, I think it was maybe one of those domino things, because apparently Michael Caine just wanted to be in it because of Pele, and then maybe Sylvester Stallone just wanted to be in it because of Michael Caine. And then,
so who did Pele want to work with?
Yeah, maybe Bobby Moore. I mean, they had the handshake after the game in the 70s. Maybe he was a big John Huston fan. It was just like,
or a historian.
I think he was living in the US by that stage. I think he was probably in New York Cosmos in 81. So his career had essentially finished. He was pretty old by this stage. So he wasn't playing professional football anymore. And was in movie land. Just decided to be in a movie.
So go for it.
Kev, what's your kind of memories of the film, or like kind of watching it?
Yeah, I think that's one of the things you just saying that has reminded me is because I remember first watching this when I was really young, and just like sort of, it's like you said, these sort of films just always be on TV. My dad just always used to watch all of these sort of films, and so I just remember being like a young kid just sitting in front of the TV watching it. And when you're kind of like just sort of sitting there, it's getting a bit late, and you just don't move, and then they'll forget you're there, and you get to stay up a bit later. And then and then eventually they work out and go, "Oh, it's a break now. Go on, go to bed." And you're like, "Oh, but I want to see the end." So that's the first thing I remember. But I'm going to be interested to see what the football piece is like, how they shoot that, like will they do it from afar? Because I can't remember that. So
just zoom in on the feet. So it could be anyone.
Exactly. So it doesn't have to be Sly Stallone. Didn't have to learn how to play football to be in this film.
Because he's the goalkeeper, isn't he?
No, spoilers. Yeah, no, there's no spoilers whatsoever. Yeah, he's the goalkeeper, and a lot is made about the fact that he doesn't know how to play football. But obviously, like, Americans are good goalies, which kind of did bear out. To be fair, the first Americans in the Premiership were all keepers, because obviously basketball and American football and stuff like that.
So does Michael Caine have to like put a team together of unlikely lads? Is that?
He's starting to come around.
It's all coming together.
I can't wait to see this. I love an underdog story.
There we go. Let's just remember that bit when we come back after you've seen it, and you say, "Why did you make us watch that? 2 hours?"
I mean,
it's 1 hour and 56 minutes. It's okay.
It's
not too bad.
It's not too bad. And I mean, you say about the football, they basically, rather than like the zoom in on the feet, they just brought in professional footballers. So it's
So got a lot in this, haven't they?
They have arguably the greatest footballer of all time in order to be able to do some long shots of some football skills, presumably.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? Like, isn't it? I don't know. I wonder if there was like loads of football films just in and around that era, or whether everyone just thought no. So it's just bizarre, isn't it? It does seem really left field. Like, you've just gone. It's almost like they did have a bet and they had to pick like two things out of two hats. One was war and then one was football, and they go, all right, let's see what we can do here then.
We'll put it together.
Yeah. I'm optimistic.
So, I think I'll be surprised. I think you might like it. I think you could be interested. And so then for you, Andy, and obviously this is on your list, your top 100. So why is it in the top 100 then for you, and why is it in this place?
Yeah, I mean, as I say, I think there's like the classic, there's the classic Second World War movies, which this is like just sort of maybe for some scratching at the bottom of that list. But if you take like Great Escape, Bridge Over the River Kwai, Kelly's Heroes, Dirty Dozen, I would say that those are sort of the top tier Second World War movies. Yeah. And funnily enough, as I was thinking about it, I actually thought, okay, when those films came out, like, what's the time difference between the actual Second World War? So I worked out, okay, if the film came out today, when would that mean that the Second World War ended?
Yeah, okay.
Like, so like, imagine that it's the year that it came out, and like the difference. So for The Great Escape, if it came out today, that means the Second World War ended in 2005, which just seems really close. Bridge Over the River Kwai, 2011. So that's like super soon after the war. Kelly's Heroes was 1998, Dirty Dozen 2001, and this would have been 87, because this is much later than those films, right? So this came out in 1981. Great Escape was 63, and kind of on from there. So it kind of it almost already felt like the Great Escape. Well, just like everyone was like, The Great Escape, it's Great Escape, and I'm sure The Great Escape is on a lot of people's lists.
Yeah,
but
it's a great film.
Is it, or is it just like by osmosis that we think it's a great film?
Maybe it's just Steve McQueen, because Steve McQueen is incredible. Yeah. I think that might be it.
I mean, I think John Schuster definitely feels like he's a poor man Sylvester Stallone.
I mean, there is that. I mean, we'll see his sneaky acting skills. So,
I mean, I think there's definitely a certain amount of, okay, well, The Great Escape was like all of these British and European people and one American. Right, let's do another war movie with all these British and European people and one American. I think this was kind of in there. Probably for me, like Kelly's Heroes is probably the one that it was competing with most, which again, well, it's much more American actually, because it's Clint Eastwood and others. This is just more fun, to be honest with you. And who doesn't want fun as part of a World War II movie?
Exactly.
Are there any famous actors cast? Or I suppose I'll just wait and see. But as the German side,
yes,
Ooh.
the Max von Sydow is the it's like arguably the good Nazi. Which is
there's always one in these films.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he's quite fair. I mean, depends on your movie taste, but he's a Ming in Flash Gordon, if that helps. Oh. He's obviously he's from the 70s.
There you go.
Originally, and he's quite a famous actor, but he's the only one, and I think he's the only real. I think he's the only real Nazi. I think he's the only real actor as a Nazi that you kind of spend any time with, and maybe
the rest are
maybe he has a change of heart because football is such a beautiful game. Maybe not. I'm not. There's no spoilers here.
Yeah. I mentioned all of the Nazis are going to speak in American accents as well, so none of them are going to be like authentic Germans.
I mean, I think all of the accents maybe don't focus too much on. But yeah, it has a special place in my heart because I have watched it so many times. And I think it does kind of represent almost that sort of Saturday, like late afternoon. It's not a black and white Second World War film, which would have been on like during the day on BBC Two. This is probably coming on at like 6 or 7 o'clock. It's a bit more edgy. There's a bit more to it. So yeah, I wanted, it just, whenever I watch it, I think I always smile. I always just kind of remember. And obviously it combines football and the war. We're getting ahead of ourselves slightly, but there was a review, not for this film, but for Looking for Eric, that talks about this film.
I'll tell you what, we can't get you off that film, can you? You are doing everything you can to try and convince people that's a good film.
It's that commission.
I'm going to start a protest and the people don't listen to that podcast.
It's going to be like the deleted one.
You got to get Cantona on this.
It'd be great. What a podcast. But yeah, the review of Looking for Eric in Empire Magazine begins, if you are 12 or drunk or have a Michael Caine fixation, Escape to Victory is a good film. So, you
can't be all three?
So I think I was 12. I don't think I was drunk.
Yeah.
I'm not sure that I have a Michael Caine fixation. Obviously, Michael Caine. Yeah.
I'm open to one. Let's see. Maybe I'll have one after this.
Just do his entire filmography. Season 6 of the pod. We can just do the top 100 Michael Caine films. He's been in a lot of films. So yeah. Is there anything that you're particularly looking forward to, Kev, from a rewatch? Anything that you remember?
As I said, I don't remember too much about it, but I think for me it's going to be interesting to see how the football's actually portrayed. I think that's going to be what's interesting. The rest of it will just, like you said, will coincide with a normal standard World War II film where, it's just going to be, the accent's going to be terrible, the storyline's going to be questionable, the acting's going to be, arguably bad. But it's like one of those nostalgic films, isn't it? It's one of those ones you remember when you watched it, rather than this is one of the greatest acting performances of all time. It's more like this takes me back to when I was younger and some random person put football and the war together.
Pele did not win an Oscar for his performance.
Spoiler alert.
Oh man, that is a spoiler. Come on.
I mean, I think for the other guest stars that we've had on the pod with Mick Jagger and Eric Cantona, both of them, in your estimations, were the best things as part of that film. So
they were,
maybe the same's going to be true.
I just didn't have the right category for Pele. Best sporting performance. That would have.
Yeah.
We got it, but yeah.
Only sports star to win an Oscar.
Yeah.
Bit of trivia.
What decade?
I don't know, in the last 10 years.
Vinnie James?
for Lock, Stock.
That's a tough one.
Kobe for best short film.
Okay.
Ode to basketball.
Nice.
Yeah, there we go.
There you are. Lovely.
Another bit of trivia.
That's a nice bit of trivia.
So Carla, is there anything that now you know a little bit more about it? Is there anything you're specifically looking forward to this?
I'm really excited to see the part where Michael Caine has to get the team together, because I feel like this is going to be, maybe I think it's going to be more comedic than it is. I'm pretty sure. I mean, can this be comedic based on World War II? Let's see. But yeah, I think there's going to be some good dynamics going on within the team. And I feel like he's going to be quite a disgruntled guy. So I want to see if that's actually, if the picture in my mind comes to life. And also see Sly Stallone's form, because I've been warned that it's not going to be great.
I love that your brother was worried about his form. I mean, if you according to the research, and this is obviously just kind of bad research. According to that, he actually, Gordon Banks, the England goalkeeper, was teaching him how to be a goalkeeper, but he just wasn't listening at all, and actually broke a rib and dislocated his shoulder.
No.
And so then he started listening, and then he broke another rib, and he maybe mockingly said that actually this was more of a physical workout than for Rocky.
What?
So, yeah. So I think he had a bit more respect for football players maybe afterwards. So yeah, your brother's not wrong on that being a standout.
Wow.
And then,
mad.
I didn't know it was that easy to break your ribs from soccer or football.
If you're diving on the ground, it's
how weak is Sly Stallone? Jeez, I thought he had muscles.
What a phony.
This guy. Yeah.
All padding.
Yeah.
He's wearing a bodysuit.
I would takes it off every night, puts it up, hangs it up on the door.
I would say he's quite muscly for a prisoner of war. I'm not sure that they're still putting in the protein shakes and stuff to the team. So there are maybe some continuity things. So yeah, I mean, let's see that from what I think. There's 3 questions that will answer whether you really like this film or not, and that is, what do you think about football generally? What do you think about World War II movies, and what do you think about Sylvester Stallone? So based on those 3, Carla.
Get yourself ready.
No, I think I will like it. It's giving me the mix of everything. I like historical films. I like action films. I haven't seen too many football films, I will admit. But sports films in general can be quite exciting. So it's a good combination. I'm optimistic, as I said. I think I'm going to like it.
Yeah, nice. There is also there is some other stuff going on. I would say that there's I think maybe the first time you watch it, by the 5th or 6th watching, you're really.
Are we going to watch it 6 times together?
Yeah. So did we not do that?
This is the rest of the year planned out.
Every Saturday we're going to sit down and watch. No, there's a couple of other subplots going on. There is a bit more depth to some of it than maybe others.
Is there any romance?
There is no romance. No, actually, no, that's not true at all. There is romance.
The love of the game.
I'd forgotten the thread about romance again for the second time in a football movie. No, there is a romance thread.
I'll be watching out for that then.
Yeah. You love a romance, Andy. You get even into your World War II films, you still sneak in a bit of romance to the one that's on your list.
It's basically a romantic comedy set in World War II with football.
The cover really gives that vibe with the barbed wire going across the front of the swastika.
Yeah. I mean, I think as we commented, it was a bold decision that if this was in a row of videos, it just says escape to victory and a swastika on the bookend. And I think that's a bold decision by the graphic designer. So you'll be fine. There's a little very romantic interlude that obviously may or may not come back at the end as well. So with that, I know that you I can feel that just dying to get on and watch it. We'll pop it on. We'll go out the back and pop it on, and we'll see you after the break.
Good fun. That's if I had to label this anything, it would be good fun, which I never thought I would say about a film centered around Nazi Germany.
So when you're in the video store and you see the side of this video which just said the swastika on it, and you're like, oh, actually, this is
and then underneath that is good fun, Carla.
Yeah, you go in and you're like, I'm having a bit of a hard day. I really just need a bit of a palate cleanser. This one looks like it'll do the job. And surprisingly, it did. I have to say, there are a lot of really enjoyable moments, and I'm looking forward to chatting about
it.
Kevin, how about you on the rewatch?
So I've got a couple of big things to drop here. But first off, should probably get this out of the way. I thought I'd seen this whole film. I hadn't. So, I think I thought it was Escape to Victory. Great Escape, sorry. And so
Wait,
I hadn't
so you haven't seen it at all?
I've seen some of it, but in my mind, it was different. And so when I was watching it, I was like, this isn't what I remember happening. I don't remember. Where's the guy with the ball against the wall? Where's that bit happening? So, yeah.
How far were you in when you realised?
Oh, yeah, not too far in. I
when
think,
the cross came over. Pele.
Yeah. And funnily enough, I did start watching a bit of Escape to Victory last night, and I was like, yeah. Oh, sorry.
Great
Escape. Great Escape. And I was thinking, yeah, this is definitely the film I've seen.
Let's just talk about both films.
Oh, that's a great film. I mean, my thoughts on watching / rewatching this. I think I have seen half of it, and the reason I've only seen half of it is because I definitely found this a bit disappointed and pretty boring from my side. And I think that's why I've only seen half of it. And some of the acting, I mean, obviously they're football stars. Oh my Lord, it's pretty bad.
I will agree with you on that.
Yeah. I tell you what, seems to be a theme of these sort of movies, Andy, but the best actor was the person that I thought would be the worst actor. Sly Stallone is actually quite good at this. I couldn't believe it. It's like Michael Caine's actually...
The French accent that Sylvester Stallone had was actually pretty good, I thought.
Yeah, really? I was like, what happened to him? Why did he stop being able to act?
I feel like maybe you're just being blinded by the leather jacket. He's not great.
Yeah, I did see the leather jacket. He's actually not bad though. Like if you benchmark him against the rest of his career, this is up there with a pinnacle
with Copland.
So
he follows Michael Caine around, just like on his shoulder. Like every time Michael Caine does something, he's just slightly behind him and doing the same thing. When the people get off the bus, when they're getting their new kit and stuff, he's just always like, "Yeah, I need to be in this scene as well, otherwise the Americans won't understand it."
Do you not think it was them building this comedy duo, you know, like, and it's kind of what I predicted before I watched it. I was thinking Michael Caine was going to be the kind of like, oh, here we go again, sort of disgruntled.
Yeah.
And then the American's going to be like the kind of goof. And I feel like that's kind of the dynamic they built between the two of those. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah.
Just the dynamic, not the entire film.
Yeah. I think you're right. I think the dynamic between them was pretty good. I honestly don't know if Michael Caine dumbed down his performance for Sly. He was just in anticipation. But I honestly didn't think Michael Caine was very good. And I did think Sly was quite good. So maybe that just sort of levels them both off at the same sort of level. And then amazingly, Sly Stallone is 35 when he recorded it, or when this film came out. So probably a bit younger when he recorded it. Michael Caine is 48.
Wow.
Neither of them look their age. They both look so much younger. I was like, wow, that's impressive. And it also explains why Michael Caine does no football, because he's 48.
So the question, is Pele a better actor than Michael Caine is footballer?
I mean, no, Pele is absolutely horrifically bad in this film as a actor.
Michael Caine's not great with the ball at his feet, to be honest.
No, he isn't. I know that down as well. I was like, clearly Michael Caine has never picked up a football. Yeah, he works for West Ham though, doesn't he? He plays for West Ham. I was like,
those lads over there on my team. I love that. But yeah, I feel like they didn't give Michael Caine much range. Like there wasn't much that he could do because he was just playing like the good guy and a little bit disgruntled and rallying the troops, as we would say. But I feel like they gave they gave Sly Stallone a bit more like he could work with.
Yeah.
Surprisingly. That's what I was he was more the star. I was really surprised.
Yeah, I think I agree. And I think like Michael Caine, it almost feels it's like we've said this I think before, Andy, that I feel like he was just paid off. It's like somehow he's got caught up in this film. He didn't want to be in it, and somehow he's in it. Someone owed him some money or something like that. And he's like, or he just thought, oh yeah, I've been in a film with some football players. That will be fun. And then halfway through, he just stops acting. He's like, this is terrible.
I love just how he brings in the class action into it though. Like he's like, oh yeah, if it's just officers, I don't want to be a part of it. He's really like trying to make it into a different film. It feels. But then I think Sly Stallone's in a different film as well. I think maybe all of them are in a different film, and Pele just thinks he's in a football game.
Yeah, Sly Stallone was like in 4 different films during this.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I think he could have done his own film just based on him and the French Resistance, and I think that could have worked quite well. And then
Part 2?
I don't know, and he just maybe Part 2. Yeah, escape from the country. Yeah, that was crazy. I mean, obviously, as I sort of remembered it / didn't remember it, kind of seen it, kind of not seen it. When they go back for the second half, I was my God, you would never ever do that. I mean, it's an actual war. I mean, come on.
Someone goes super early on it. Literally, as soon as they're like, right, go down the hole, you hear in the background, oh, what?
Still up in the shower room. They're like, we can win this.
We can go to we'll go back to a prisoner of war camp, but let's stop the second half.
Don't stop the footy.
Having beat the Germans and embarrassed them in a huge stadium and televised event, that's going to work really well when you're back in the camp.
Yeah, but then Pele is so charismatic. Who's going to say no to Pele? Aj, please, Aj.
This.
That's.
I know,
just brilliant. It's great when they say, "Well, if you go, we all go," and he should just be like, "Yeah, all right."
Yeah, he's like, "That was my intention the whole time." I set this up so you would come with me. Come on.
But that is the massive flaw. Obviously, just why does he have to go back to tell them? It's not like he there is no reason whatsoever that he needs to go back. And they're like, well, you have to go back. And he's like,
the kid with the flowers could have done that without him going back.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't even think of that.
They don't even need that. If suddenly a hole in the bath happens and a French person sticks his head up, I think most of the people there are going to be like, do you think they're the resistance?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
Like there's.
I mean, we've all been there, haven't we? You know, when there's just the Frenchman's come out the bottom of your mouth.
I did those just literally, and they don't even convince him very well. They're like, well, you have to go back to tell them the plan. And he's like, what, at half time, you're going to smash in the floor and then you're going to escape? No, why do I have to? Why do I have to go back?
Yeah. And he would be in solitary forever. There's no way they would let him out.
That poor keeper. That is. That's one of the tragedies.
Yeah.
He is Irish, which I just can't help but feel was the English crew just kind of putting the boot in a little bit. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I was thinking he's the real hero of the film.
Oh, he is. And because he won't even have got to go there, would he? He'd have still been in the camp.
I won't even get to see the game.
Oh, that's such a heartbreaking moment.
Yeah. I mean, more specifically, you're still going to be in a prisoner of war camp and you're not going to get to escape. That's the biggest thing. But also you'll miss a terrible football game.
Can you imagine if they had escaped and he would just be there being like, those? I'm a little bit angry about that. They broke quite
Yeah. Not only that, you've still got a broken arm as well.
They didn't need. Before Eastern Europeans who couldn't play football because they'd been in there. They went just to sit on the bench, but obviously they didn't even bother with the goalkeeper whose arm they broke. You're just a bit like, well, he could have like carried a sponge or something. Couldn't he have been the new physio or something like that? Like
water boy.
Yeah.
He could have gone.
That does feel pretty.
But
harsh.
Poor Tony.
That was definitely one of the big flaws of the movie. But what go then, Andy? So it's one of your favorite films. What did you like about it?
Well, first of all, controversial as it is, I don't think the ref has a bad game. Yeah, they're both clear-cut penalties.
Look at you. You're such a referee
with both feet. Yeah, okay, the disallowed goal, but that's actually the linesman. He's just following the linesman. I don't think the ref had a bad game at all.
Classic Man United fan. Oh my word!
No, I think I think there's two things that really kind of stood out. I think the pacing is actually pretty good. Like it moves along, and it moves along without that many montages. I think there's like 2 montages. There's the training montage, and then there's the second half. But actually, It moves on. It goes from one scene to the next, and it flows. They don't stick too much in anything. And then,
did you think the football game went on the right length of time, too short, too long?
About the right length of time. I mean, I remember a lot like fast forwarding it and just watching the game.
Let's just ask Carla. Well, how long did you think the game was the right length?
I think maybe it was a bit too long. There was a lot of tackling, a lot of 2 feet going in. I don't know if that's the correct soccer football term.
Yeah. You've nailed it.
For me, as someone who's not the biggest football fan, I was relieved at the pace of the film that it wasn't like too much football dotted throughout. But yeah, I did think it was maybe just a smidge too long. Sorry, Andy.
Yeah, I think the football game is too long. You're too much of a football fan.
But that's the entire point. That's the entire point, to have the football game. That's what it's building.
Yeah, I know. But you don't need to have the entire film just showing the game, which is just mainly people's feet. It's not even. It's like just a close up, and then
there was a few good skills showcase. Remember, there was the flick up and then onto the chest and then a header. I think that was a. Yeah. And then Pele was the one that designed all of it, all the football. What was it called? There's a special term for it in the credits.
Oh wow, did see that.
Yeah. The choreography and stuff. He does catch the overhead kick as well. I think if you compare the overhead kick, where he catches that as cleanly as you're going to see that, and then the penalty that Sylvester Stallone saves, where clearly they just couldn't get him to save a penalty because they had to zoom in right. There's clearly someone just throwing him the ball underarm from a yard away. There's no power on that shot whatsoever.
Classic English penalty. Could have been anyone.
just floated up. He almost throws the ball into the goal. He doesn't really the celebration after saving the penalty it's always just really strange for me. He literally just doesn't know what to do. He's tried to spike it and then he almost throws it into the goal, which would have been quite funny. About the story is that he wanted to score the winning goal.
From goalkeeper.
And then everyone sort of said, no, you can't do that. And he said no, and he was like, no, that's the entire point, is that I have to be the hero because I've come back and stuff. And so then they made the penalty, which actually, to be fair though, lots of goalkeepers go up for the corner, 90th minute. Yeah, they could have done that easily.
I think really Pele has very little to do in this film. If he doesn't score a blinding goal, it seems a little bit pointless. Yeah, I mean, can you imagine all the other football stars as well when Sly comes in and goes, right, so team, I've got a proposition for you. Think about this. So I know you're all great footballers for your different countries. You played for your country. Think about me, an actor. I dribble the whole pitch and score a wonder goal while you guys have been messing around for 85 minutes doing nothing.
And that means that lots of people will go and see it and you'll get paid a lot of money. Yeah. They would have all gone I don't think anyone was there demanding that I've got to have 16 tackles because I'm better. Bobby Moore's I'm much better than Mike Summerby. So I need 3 more tackles than he does. I don't think that was in the contract.
Yeah, you're right. That would be the problem. If it came out now, that would 100% what would be happening. It would be everyone would be no. I've got one more tackle than him. Or one more shot than him.
They all have their agents there watching the edit. I have a confession to make. We were talking about Bobby Moore before I watched the film, and I realised during the film I had been looking for Bobby Charlton, thinking that he was one of the players. I have no idea what age he would have been during that. But I don't see him anywhere.
Yeah, he was that good.
I mean, he would have been a couple of years younger than Bobby Moore. I think Bobby Moore was only a couple. They both played in England.
So it wasn't that much of a crazy thought.
Yeah. It's probably more likely that Bobby Charlton's on the back post for the first goal than Bobby Moore. I don't know what he's doing up there as a centre back, but we obviously the tactics aside, it was still good. I think it is. Yeah, it's still fun. I think it moves quite well. I think the score is really good. Actually, I really like the music when Pele looks back over his shoulder and there's stirring,
Really?
stirring strings that come up. Yeah, I think it's fun. You get into it. I do. I mean, obviously they should never go out. They should just escape. But they want to win the game. That it's more important that the 30,000 people in the stadium who then rush the field and don't get shot. I would say that the Nazis seem very, very harsh in the first 3 minutes when they shoot the guy in the barbed wire. And after that, they just seem to have lost their taste for it. They just don't seem they don't seem that bothered.
They're holding their guns when everyone's like storming the pitch, and they're just like getting knocked over slightly.
They
really softened up.
Another
maybe they knew the tide had turned.
They could see they were losing the war.
They were
this
like,
is where
this Pele guy? I'm on his side.
Yeah, everyone thinks
he's from Trinidad.
Yes, random as well. Why is he from Trinidad? So bizarre.
Well, he can't be. I think Brazil's place in the Second World War wasn't maybe with the Allies all the way through.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Well, he didn't do much on the pitch, so it kind of shone through. I'm surprised. I think you guys, as a double feature, should watch The Great Escape next, like immediately after this, because the music in that immediately is so much better. So it's funny you should say I think the score's good, because I was like, there's not that much music in it, and it's when they're in the camp, they clearly want to go into the Great Escape theme a couple of times and just stop themselves. I would say, I did notice that as well. So I mean, usually we do anything new you noticed on this watch, but obviously you're like, well, Steve McQueen was in it a lot less than I thought he was going to. Do you know what? Funnily enough, which is a bit another revelation for me, is Steve McQueen's not in the Great Escape that much either. I was like, there's actually loads of other really famous actors in this, and they're all really good.
Double disappointment.
It's just been a big weekend for me, guys. It really has.
I want to know what other films are two different films that you think are one film. This could be a podcast. It's not even a double feature. It's just the same film.
It just saves on time. You only watch one of them.
When Sly Stallone's that boxer and then he goes mental in the forest. No, that's Rambo.
Just watch the first half of one and the second half of the other, and just
you get it.
Make it make sense.
The Generation Z are going to be all over this. It means they get to watch twice as much stuff in half as much time.
I loved it. One thing I noticed when he first arrives in the camp, he says, "Oh, do you have different teams?" And Michael Caine says, "Yeah, we have 4 divisions. So in order to have 4 divisions, you must have at least 15.
I mean, even if it's only 3, right? I mean, it's
no, but why would you have 4 divisions if you have 3 teams in each division? You wouldn't. So there's got to be like 600 players playing football, and they're clearly not. Like, why bother saying that there's 4 divisions? I just be like, we can get a match together.
It is strange, isn't it?
And then I also love it when he says, well, the lads will need to get fit. So, we need meat, veg, beer.
Yeah. This is the thing, as we covered off in Beast of the Southern Wild, when in a post-apocalyptic world, they still create moonshine. And it's the same here. Even when you're in a World War POW camp, you get beer. It doesn't matter what happens. There's always alcohol available in all scenarios. That's crazy.
Priorities.
Yeah, exactly. Was there anything that you thought that dated well or badly, Carla, when you watched it on your first view?
Well, the audio quality I think is what, like, I don't think Pele was that bad at acting. I think it was the audio quality, and they had to re-record his voice. I think that's what let him down, because his acting was the ball play, right? So but I think that probably aged it a bit. I also found when Sly Stallone does meet that lovely lady who's trying to house him, and he's like, "You got a husband, you got a boyfriend." I was like, oh gosh, here we go. But then immediately they've like got this chemistry, and so but no, I mean, it aged, I guess, appropriately for its time. I don't feel like it was a colossal fail in the aging front.
Not a complete waste of 2 hours of your time.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't feel very 40s,
No.
I would admit.
That's true.
It feels
That
kind
is
of late
true.
70s,
Yeah.
80s, doesn't it? It's like the World War is
Yeah,
still going
Yeah.
in
on
a way it kind
somehow.
of feels like you're watching someone's dream about back then. Like
Yeah.
maybe it's Michael Caine's fever
Maybe.
dream or something, remembering the football heyday or something. But yeah,
It's
that's
like-
true. It doesn't feel very 40s.
It's like a nightmare that he wakes up from in a hot sweat every time going, oh my God, or had a nightmare that I was in a film with Sly Stallone. Is that like, it's like, no, Michael, that was unfortunately reality.
and he outacted me.
in heels.
Yes, he is in heels, isn't he? I honestly do think Sly's better in this than Michael Caine. I don't know how that's even possible. I don't know how I'm actually saying that sentence, but I do think he is better in this than Michael Caine.
It's because he's wearing a leather jacket. We know that's
It may well be. Yeah.
you just love a
He
leather
did
jacket.
look very good in that little side hat thing, and
Yeah.
his
That
his outfits were very tailored.
that was to show, I think, that he was French. I think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Ankle
Mon
hat.
chéri, when
Yeah.
he's chasing after
Yeah.
the woman with the suitcases.
Yeah, that was a question
Yeah.
that I had. So they're in Germany and he's traveling to Paris.
Yeah.
And they're like, do you speak German? And he says no. And you're just like, why is this like 30-year-old
Yeah.
dude who doesn't speak German in Germany, but he's traveling?
In the first
I feel like
Yeah.
they could have checked his papers one more time.
And
Yeah.
also, like when they say to you in a different language, do you speak this language? If you don't speak that language, you just don't know what they've said. It's not like, do you speak German? No. Well, hold on a minute. You just understood what I said. So
Everyone's seen Second World War films. We all know this record of Deutsch is, Sly Stallone will have seen The Great Escape.
Hey.
I think it comes up.
come on, Andy.
didn't
Like,
we use
we
that?
all think we've seen war films. It turns out we've only seen half of all of them. So.
I mean, I just think the best thing is that football hooliganism saves the day again.
Yeah.
If they don't rush the field, it's
I love that scene actually where they're covering them all.
yeah,
Do you think that means that they all escape?
It gives us the hope that they do.
yeah, for the
Yeah.
sequel.
For this, yeah. Sly in
Escape from Paris.
Escape from Paris. We should put this
No, I
forward. I
think-
think he'll be on that.
And I'm trying to remember what his name was. Schneider? Was that what the guy, the German who
Yeah.
wanted was it Schneider? I think it was.
Yeah.
When he stood up and clapped furiously when was it when England equalized? Sorry, the Allies equalized.
Yeah.
Felt very unreal. If
Yeah.
we had to pick one thing. I mean,
Yes.
there were many things, but I was like,
I mean, there's a reading
Yeah.
of it where he's actually the hero of the movie because he's the only person who goes on a journey, and actually that Hatch is the villain because he gets the guy's arm broken. That's what I'm saying. It actually made me. Is this actually still
wow.
propaganda that actually
Yeah.
is trying to convince you that the Allies are bad? I don't know.
Yeah,
That is
that's
a
a good
very
idea.
weird bit. It is a very weird bit that it focuses so much on him when the goal goes in. Like even he scores it to begin with, and the first time I even remember watching it being like, why is no one celebrating? He's just scored, and then it like zooms in on him, and then it's like do-do-do. And then it zooms in on him, and you're just like, "Oh wait, what's he gonna do? Like grab a gun and free everyone? Oh no, he's just gonna clap." That's
his weapon of choice.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
He would definitely be dead. He would have been killed after that.
Yeah.
Like, can you
Yeah.
imagine?
that's why he just sits down. He's just like, "Yeah, I'm done."
But then
In
even
every
like,
sense of the word.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's no
Like,
way
the
I
whole-
get away.
yeah, exactly. I'm finished. Let's hope they win that. Even like the whole audience in that stadium would have been full of Germans. It would not have been full of Allies, and they would have been instructed for all of them to clap every time Germany scored a goal. And so I was like, when Germany scored and no one celebrated, I was like, oh, so the entire crowd is made up of Allies or prisoner of war, Division 1, 2, 3, and 4 players.
This is
I was like,
terribly planned.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Can you imagine just one of the
Who sold
Nazis
tickets?
turning to the other
Yeah.
one, being like, "Did we not get
Yeah.
any of our fans in? No, I was just
Yeah.
giving them
Brilliant.
out on the street." Oh,
Yeah.
oh yeah. No, I
Yeah.
see now. I should have. Yeah.
Well, the general guy did comment on that a couple of times. Too many people together. This is bad news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
Just send it up a
nightmare.
little
Saw
bit
coming.
for the end. Yeah.
Do you think the senior English officers got out when everybody was escaping?
I
the
hope
ones that
not.
were up at this. Yeah, they were
No.
such smarmy
Yeah.
clunkers.
You know, they scored the second goal. It's a great goal by Oscar Ardiles. It runs past everyone and he doesn't even clap because, you know, because posh people don't care when the lads score a goal.
Yeah.
The lads.
Yeah.
Doesn't he say, he says something like, Curl beer or chap or something like that. I was just like, oh, this guy.
Yeah.
When the Argentinian guy scores the goal, the British military just do not like it.
I did have that down as something that didn't date well, is that there's still a level of aristocracy in this film. And just to update you guys, if you've not seen The Great Escape, it also exists in that film as well. And I was like, why there's such a weird like aristocracy that still gets set up in prison war camps?
Because there was in the war.
Yeah, it is a funny old system, isn't it? Yeah.
I love this double education though that we're discussing both films.
And to be honest, I was finishing watching it and I was thinking, actually, I've got to stop watching this because I'm now getting confused again for which film was which. I'm going to start going like, oh yeah, Attenborough was great in this, wasn't he? He's acting so much better than I remember.
You had Tom, Dick, and Harry at the centre back three, and then so I dare to ask about you explaining the plot to the aliens, Kev, because presumably it's going to be we're not going to recognise it. And we've seen it.
Well, I've got a good one, but I'll let Carla go first. If you've got one, but I've got an interesting one to go with.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, if it's to aliens, I'm assuming that they don't understand what anything that we're talking about.
I mean,
possibly.
Okay, two groups of men, if they understand, battle over a spherical shape, which they push back and forth in order to save their nations. I don't know.
That's great. That's almost describing football as well.
That'd be good on the back of the tape, I think.
Why didn't they go for that on the DVD? I don't know.
Yeah.
The spherical.
They don't decide the war based on the game. They say that would be nice, but
yeah, that would be good.
Outcome unknown. You're right.
Yeah, exactly. Who knows how it will finish? Yeah, escape to victory.
Okay. Kev, what about yours? The double victory.
My one, in the interest of bringing in as many films as possible into this podcast, I went for Batman's butler and Rambo get together in their off season to play football in the middle of a war. So that was my take.
Wow.
Yeah,
love it.
Just having as many different ones as possible.
Yeah,
and I can insulted Michael Caine would be if he heard you call him Batman's butler. And that
I know. I was trying to think, what do I know Michael Caine from the most? And obviously, I was thinking the talent job.
Great Escape.
Yeah, well, yeah, great. yeah, very true. He's so good in that. And then I can help it.
Wasn't he in Miss Congeniality? He was the guy who does the makeover.
Yeah,
he was. Yeah,
he has such range.
So I've not seen that film.
You've not seen? Don't. That is not true. Fundamentally, that's got to be one of your top 10 films.
Not at all. I'm not really a massive Sandra Bullock fan, and I'm not like.
You're missing
that
out.
film just didn't really appeal to me much. But top 10 could be coming out soon. Who knows? What about you then, Andy?
Oh, I just went for there was this war that happened everywhere on the planet. And football is the thing.
It's a good
because they don't seem very related, to be honest.
I mean, they're not, aren't they? It's a bit strange. But this is loosely based on a true story, right? They did actually.
No, it's not. I think someone tried to say that there was once a football game.
Yeah. Okay.
During the war, I think that's as close as it got.
Yeah, I think it's a bit too far-fetched to me.
So if this got released now on Netflix, it would be based on true story. Some of the events may have been changed.
Names have been changed.
there was a war, there was a football match.
Yeah.
That's all.
They may or may not have happened at the same time.
What I was really curious about but didn't check out afterwards was, do you think the treatment of POWs was as civilized as it was portrayed there? I'm highly doubt it, but I'm super curious.
I would have thought so.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was a gradient of how different countries treated different POWs, and well, we won't say where he was at the bottom of that gradient, but funnily enough, after watching it, I was talking to my wife about it. Is POW still a thing?
As in an acronym?
No, are there still prisoners of wars like in the wars that are going on? Like, are there still like camps?
Maybe not.
That, like between Russia and Ukraine, like what happens if you're like capturing people? Are there still camps? Because you don't hear about it at all, really. But like there's been times in Ukraine where there's been battalions and stuff that have been overrun, and actually I think vice versa. So that was the thing. I was like, after the Second World War, it was very much like in the social consciousness because of a lot of these films. Yeah. And I was just like, does this even still happen? But I guess it must.
Presumably there's some sort of variation of it now. Like, not obviously looking not in the sort of camp sense, but I'd say there's a holding.
They put them in like hotels or like must be very must still go on, right? Because if you surrender, you're supposed
you'd
to.
Hope,
like,
you wouldn't
Geneva
just kill
Convention.
everyone.
See, look how thought-provoking this film is.
It's got depth,
because the scenes are so good, we needed to start talking about the intricacies of war.
So what do you think, though? What's the question then that the film asks or answers?
But for me,
Andy,
I had,
what do you reckon?
What is important? I think that's a question that the footballers should ask themselves before they go back out in the second half. I think everyone,
Tony knew what was important. He wanted to watch the game.
I can cheer on the sidelines. I'm more used than those guys.
With one arm.
Well, you could play me outfield. I was a professional footballer.
He probably could have played in goal. He'd been all right.
One arm, probably more.
What is important, I think, is a good way of like a good. What about you, Kev?
Was this the Great Escape?
I was thinking the same.
It would have been so much better. I had to, like I said, I've stopped watching it, so I'm going to watch that after we finish this.
The Great Escape to Victory. Love it.
Okay, it was, I guess there's more around, there's this, and I don't know how true it would have been, and maybe it was to some degree, but around that there's some understanding from both sides that it's a war, and maybe both parties don't want to have the war, but they are caught up in the war, and they know they need to do their part and play their role, but it's not what they wanted to do. And I was thinking that with obviously Michael Caine and the Nazi officer, it kind of feels like they both we're kind of in this sort of world now. I don't want to be in a POW camp. It didn't seem like he really wanted to be in charge of a POW camp. And so it's kind of, sometimes I guess, in war, that means people are doing roles that they don't want to do, but they can still, I guess, understand and respect the other person and the other side. So that was kind of the thing I got from it. And then Sly Stallone used to be able to act. An absolute revelation to me.
Did you see in the scene where they're discussing it, and he says, "Well, this will be your German coach." It's the guy from Vicar of Dibley, like the older guy from Vicar of Dibley.
Oh wow!
So he pops up briefly. So I think in the first half I said that there was only one recognizable actor for the Nazis, but clearly there was two. So
see, there's so many films that this crosses over with. It's really easy to get it confused.
I wonder, is there a bit of inner turmoil as well, getting cast to play a Nazi? Like, you're like,
you see a lot of Nazis in this film, and I in the last sort of 20 years, I think even in war films, I don't think you see as many Nazis. I think it's like, I'm just thinking of like Jojo Rabbit and like other ones. It's much more confined.
Yeah, when they do that panning down shot, when you're in the stadium and it's just like this sea of generals and sergeants and everything. It's quite a lot of Nazi actors.
Maybe people don't want to do that anymore. That's like
I wonder, do you keep it on your IMDb like Nazi number 20, or are you like, maybe you don't need that one?
Yeah, I made it up to Nazi number 1. I'm like the best villain now.
I don't want to be typecast.
But I was in The Great Escape.
Yeah, I wonder if any of the guards from The Great Escape are also in Escape to Victory. We'll have to do the research after to see. Because I did at one stage, I think, Second World War film Bingo. Guards who are rubbish because they're smoking rather than doing their job. A harmonica. Someone going in the hot box. I think there's definitely a bingo that you can do with all of these.
Being chased by a dog at some point, an Alsatian specifically.
He gets lit up by, when he's escaping, like 4 or 5 times the spotlight just goes over him, and then clearly no one's paying any sort of attention because you're like, why are you crawling around? That light just went over you and you're clearly not grass. So
I do have to say, though, I thought I really enjoyed that scene, and after the scene was over, I realized I'd been holding my breath the whole time. I was like, "Oh, how's he going to get out?" And
he's just on the side of the car as well, which must be like,
I thought it was so easy to get out of that cab. He might as well just walked out.
Well, maybe you'd already seen it, but I was thinking he was going to have done something to the driver, and he was going to be the driver taking her away. But I feel like that was probably too
like a karate chop
for this film. And then wearing the hat and the jacket and everything. Hello, milady. Off we go.
For the German, be like, well, my driver's British all of a sudden.
Hello, Fraulein.
Brilliant.
Oh, dude.
He could have done it with that French accent. I'm not surprised if he couldn't have done it.
Was there a character that you particularly thought you would want to be in the film, or that you had a lot of empathy for?
That's a really good question. But I think Tony, the Irish guy.
Oh wow!
I just felt for felt the kinship.
No, I really liked whoever it was, but I don't know which football player it was. I actually did really enjoy the guys when they went down saying like, "We can win this." The rousing. I'd want to be one of those. A secondary character, but with a very important input.
Nice. I thought the Forger was quite good. He seemed quite happy with his life.
Oh.
It was, he was. I have no idea how he took that photo. That seemed very strange.
He's a genius.
He was just quite happy, wasn't he? He was like joking around and stuff.
He didn't want to go anywhere.
Busy time. Everyone tries to get out during the summer. It's just like, I thought he was, he seemed to be having fun in the POW camp, which is one of those things.
Yeah.
He brought a comedic flair.
Did you have anyone, Kev?
Oh, well, obviously, it was the man himself, the leader of the French resistance. In Escape to Paris. I think Sly would have been my choice. Just for there were some good moments, like not necessarily from him, but just involved in him in the scenes where he does actually bring a bit of comedy to it, because they're like, you have no idea what you're doing, you don't really know what's happening. As you said, Michael Caine's probably looking at him thinking, why is this going on? Why is he always in every scene I'm in? And so there is a bit of comedy, I think, that gets brought through with them as a double act.
I mean, bringing him in to sell a football film in America, just don't bother, because in 1980, it just wasn't going to do well in America. But there's just no point whatsoever.
I was going to say, what about a different genre? Do you guys think about this? What you would change it to?
I thought it would have made a great musical.
I did think it was. Missing a song and dance routine at the end. To be honest with you, that
would have been great as a musical. Yeah, all arm in arm in the POW camp going side to side.
Got quite producers.
Or imagine when the crowd storms the pitch, if they did a flash mob or something, a huge musical breakout.
Nah, I'm sold in on this film. Yeah, this is what I get.
That happened, Kev. Did you not see that bit?
Yeah. Yeah. Escape to the Voice. Yeah.
It was at the end of the credits. You didn't
Oh, well, I'd love to say that I did watch all of the credits, but no, not quite.
Did you have anything?
Yeah, that would be great. I had a couple of ideas. I thought you could do like a sci-fi option where it's a futuristic prison, but then I did think, I was pretty sure they did that with Fortress and Christopher Lambert. So then I thought, what about if it was set during COVID and it was people trying to escape quarantine?
To have a football game.
Yeah, is football still at the center of it all?
Yeah, and that actually would work really well because even though you'd be trying to escape, you'd be like, well, we may as well play football, right? This is really what we wanted to do. And they would, at halftime, they would still play because they're like, yeah, okay, it's not that bad, is it? Because COVID wasn't quite a POW camp. So
it's cool. During COVID, when my football on a Sunday morning had got cancelled, we heard that the centre had reopened. So we went down there one Sunday. And it was still locked, so we actually just jumped over the fence, which we've had to do a couple of times when people have slept in. And we played for about 20 minutes, and then someone came in and was like, "What are you doing? We're like still closed. You have to leave now, and like you have to leave socially distanced from each other." It wasn't like during quarantine, during lockdown or anything like that. But that was, we had to go over a fence and play football. So I feel like we've lived that film. I feel that you just described.
That sounds exactly the same.
You are the rebel. There you go. I wish you'd have filmed it. I'm going to watch this film.
Thrown it in with all the rest. Did you have any favourite lines?
Yeah, Carla, any from you? Yeah, you go.
Well, I loved when Michael Caine asks Pele, "Do you want to play football against the Germans?" And he just goes, "Why not?" Like, it was so.
I've got nothing else on. I'm a prisoner of war.
Why not? Like, no surprise, no nothing. So I loved that. And then one line, but I guess it has also aged badly, was when Sly Stallone says, "Hey, what kind of game is this? For old ladies and fairies?" I loved that when they were, because Michael Caine wasn't like admitting that he was going to be a part of the team. He was getting
charges rugby tackle someone.
So I think there were that, along with Tony's line about not watching the game. I think those were a few key highlights for me. What about you guys?
What do you have, Kev?
I didn't really have much on lines. I don't know if it was just because I spent so much of the film thinking, why isn't this the Great Escape? So I don't know. I didn't really have many that I caught. It did,
the Great Escape.
There's some absolute bangers. I'll add them into the notes.
And then he realizes that they shouldn't have built the bridge, and it's brilliant.
Don't spoil it.
You're literally bringing in every walker. The French national anthem is great to sing in a stadium. That was my favorite line. To be honest, I think when I first watched this, I just thought that was like a football song. And you know what? I think actually it was doing it in Casablanca and like understanding it then that it made me think, okay, no, that's actually the French national anthem that was kind of banned. So basically I learned everything I know from movies, and most of it's wrong. But yeah, I remember very vividly in a French lesson at school, I knew that vite meant quick. And that was from this film as well.
Really,
and I was like, oh, I know that because it's going to go to victory.
Think how good we'd have been in modern languages in the UK if they'd have actually used football as the mechanism of learning.
But all this additional context really shows why this is in your top 100 as well, Andy. Like, it obviously has a lot of personal meaning to you.
It's just, and it still stood up. This watch. It is fun, as you said. And I'm not the only one to think it. We can go into the 3-star reviews. The 3-star reviews are the best reviews. An evergreen treat. Silly it may be, but it's damn fun and very entertaining, with a wonderfully weird mix of actors and sportsmen as the World War II prisoners of war take on the German football team as the dastardly Nazis look on. And another Caine gem. If you don't enjoy this feel-good classic, you need a damn soul transplant. 3 stars. 3 stars.
Wow.
3 stars.
3 with a review that good.
What are they gonna put for a 5-star?
Oh wait, maybe is there one more line that says "Thought I was watching The Great Escape"?
Yeah,
that's why it's 3.
That would make so much more sense.
When that tunnel goes down. I do like
That's such a good review.
He says that the prisoners of war take on the German football team as the Nazis look on. Does he understand the German football team are also Nazis?
Yeah. I don't think so.
Dastardly. Dastardly.
Yeah, dastardly. Yeah. Well, underused word.
Exactly.
Another one. I thought this movie vigorous and attractive, but a little exaggerated. Just a little. Just a little. It would have got 4 stars, but just a bit. They just went over the top. And then another one. So I went to see this film with my brother when I was a little kid. My dad took us, and he read a newspaper for the entire movie. Watching it now, I know he was the smarter man. I packaged it back up and sent it to my brother.
There you go.
Beautiful story.
That's just it encapsulates everything. And I wonder whether maybe the first review is actually the review from his brother. So
had he taken the chance?
Yeah. So
I've got a great 3-star review for you both. I think you'll enjoy this. So I remember this. I think is a very fair and apt 3-star review. I remember watching this when I was young and really enjoying it. But watching it more recently, I found it a bit slow and not as interesting as when I was young. It has nothing on The Great Escape. There you go.
Did you write that review?
I mean, it feels like I should have read it.
We're going to start posting 3-star reviews and the other one picks it up for the podcast. Brilliant.
You have to guess which one is yours.
We should
Great idea. That's going to start happening.
It's the 2 truths and a lie. Which one is Which one is your review?
So do we think it would do better or worse if it came out today? Bearing in mind that the budget was 10 million, it made 10 million. I mean, it didn't do amazingly well at the time, but yeah, for me, I don't think there's anything that particularly ages. I mean, obviously, it's supposed to be set in the past, and also I think there's people that will think that it's very accurate because most people can only remember back to like the 80s. So I think it would do this. I think it would actually do a lot better because obviously football's bigger in America now than it was in 1980.
So, but you'd said it is exactly the same film. And you'd think that would do better.
I mean, it only made 10 million. Well, it didn't make a lot of money.
It's a bigger.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but relative to the amount of that, how much that would be worth now.
Get on the.
I don't think it would be better.
It for 10 million now. They'd make it.
Get it on the IMAX.
More.
Well, you'd have to pay the footballers. I bet you they didn't pay any of the footballers back in the day. They were just happy to be on there.
You probably didn't.
So who would be the players now, you think, if they were to make
you know
it
what?
now?
I don't think we've got enough time in the podcast to go down that
So, and he's got 4 divisions of players. I think I'm busy that day, guys.
It would do well, I think, but I think it would be marketed different and almost be like a bit like more of a comedy, like I don't know, more
less barbed
whimsical.
wire and swastikas.
Yeah.
Well, no, just the same amount, but more laughs.
I don't know. I think it'd be worse personally. And then I think if you updated it with new players, that would be an absolute nightmare, and it would take you 4 years just to get the contract signed to get everyone together.
FIFA would want their payday. Similar movies on Letterboxd, they say Inglourious Bastards, which I'm just, not really. And then they just name a whole bunch of other World War II films. Funnily enough, not The Great Escape. So they do not think
unbelievable.
Like and I don't know.
How do I write into Letterboxd? How do I tell them that this is exactly the same film but worse?
I feel like Dodgeball is a bit similar, maybe.
That is a great double feature. Yeah.
You know, the good guys, the bad guys.
Yeah.
The spherical shape that they're fighting over. Yeah.
For their nations.
Yeah. Yeah, and he leaves, and then he comes back. It is the same film.
Also, how quickly did they dig that tunnel? Come on. In 45 minutes, they had a carved out.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'll be fine. We'll have this by half time. Don't worry about it.
It was in the sewers. They just had to go through the walls. You guys just weren't paying attention. I'm gonna take my ball and go home.
I'll watch it again.
Go on then, Andy. So it is on your top 100, and it is number. What are we on? It's number 87. So would it stay in the same place, or would it change position?
No, I think it stays around in the same place. Obviously, there's been a few that have dropped, or risen. Probably never spoke to my brother about this today, and he completely agrees with you. But then that's nothing new. So
yes, well, I have gone back and listened to a lot of the old ones, and I don't want to say that I was right, but let's just move on.
So I think it's still fun. I think it's still watchable.
Yeah.
There's nothing that sort of makes me not like it. So I think it falls down a couple of places with the couple of films that have gone up, but this is I think it's still entertaining, it's still fun. I think there's lots to like about it. So yeah, definitely still in there.
Yeah. All right. Well, on your head there.
Thank you for bringing it to my attention. This silly and fun film, as that 3-star review called
and
up.
Just change your life. And I think now you're going to be our sports correspondent, right? We're going to see you for basically every sports film.
Yeah, for the love of the game. Yeah, totally.
We'll bring you
film
down to the shop every time that we've got a sports film to do. And
sounds wonderful.
I mean, and number one is Dodgeball for Andy, so get ready. That'll be his top film.
I'll need to brush up on my sports lingo.
Yeah.
So I don't sound totally uneducated.
I don't know. You've no other football films now, so it's just you get to learn different sports, which is always good.
Different sports.
Well, no, I can't even focus on one sport.
No, come on, you're the sports correspondent. You cover all sports.
Well, thanks for Thanks for coming down. Thanks for having a watch of this. We move on. Thanks to Tom Evans as ever for the theme song. And next week we're gonna watch a film even better than this. As if.
Nice.
See you next week.
See ya.
Bye.